you to have a look at what I'm wearing. What do you think it's made of? Where do you think I'd get something like this? It's actually made of 3 generations of love and care and skills. So the basque is actually off-cut jeans. I've got many ruffles which are recycled alterations. The tablecloth was made by my grandmother. She was a lace maker. She also made the lace on the top of this. And the buttons, well, they were from my mother's cupboard. And you can't see them, but I have 2 tiny little glass elephants there. They're really close to my heart because they were in an evening gown my grandmother wore in the 1940s. And those women were so important to me. So the next thing I'm going to ask you is how many garments do you think the average Australian buys every year? Do you have a number in your head? In fact, yell it out. What do you think an average amount would be? The really sad fact is that it is 56 garments per person per year. That's a lot of garments. That equates to a garbage truck per second going into landfill. Australians contribute 300,000 tonnes to landfill every year. That's not just clothing. That's resources wasted. That is creativity discarded. And that is creating really harmful carbon emissions. So 87% of textiles internationally find their way into landfill. 87%. And in 2010 to 2020, textile production doubled, nearly double internationally. And that is from 58 million tonnes to 109 million tonnes. Keep in mind, this data is only till 2020 because the world is moving so quickly, we're producing so much, and we are discarding so much that I couldn't even get data on that. So this is energy wasted, resources squandered, and human creativity discarded. As a child, I used to go shopping with my grandmother, and we'd buy all the fabric for her to make clothes, for my mother, for me to make clothes. I learnt to sew when I was 5. But she did buy tailored garments, so a coat or something really beautiful. And I remember going into a department store with her because she was buying a coat, and that coat had to last her 10 to 20 years. So we spent the afternoon walking around, touching fabrics, feeling them, looking at the construction of the pockets. And in the end, she decided on this coat. And it was cashmere, and it was beautiful, and it had a silk lining. And I remember hiding under that coat by her legs for many, many years later. I went on to wear that coat and most of her other clothes in my teens. In fact, I wore them out. So as a fashion designer and garment alteration specialist, I see this problem firsthand. I see it every week. So for the last 5 years, I've, for example, had a girl come in who's bought a jacket every year on a fast fashion site and had it remodelled. The alterations were the same price as a jacket. People don't mind that because they're making it their own. But what happens is that because that garment's so cheap, there is no connection to that garment. When you go to put that garment on, you think, oh, that was cheap. It's looking a bit purple this year, not the colour, and they discard it. So if that person had spent that money over the 5 years plus the alterations and done what generations before us have, they would have a garment that they have a deep connection to. They'd have a respect for the way it's made. They'd have a respect for the way it makes them feel. The other thing I see weekly, sad to say, is people coming in with a dress to wear once. Just a quick little alteration to wear once. The bigger problem with that is they often bring a bag with them, which is full of numerous garments with tags still on, and they are headed straight to landfill. They're ill-fitting, they're ill-designed, the fabric's gross, whatever it may be, they are going straight from there to landfill. So how did we get here? How did we get here? When clothes are the same price as coffee and creativity is not respected. Instead of feeling sad all the time about this, because I'm living it, and obviously I'm a really creative person from generations of beautiful creative women, I decided I needed to make a change. And that's really overwhelming for one person, isn't it? To make a big change. So I decided, what happens, what people ask me, where does all the clothes go from landfill? What happens to them? That is turning waste into wonder. And what I decided to do was start an event called Recycled Runway. And this is how it works. Creatives, designers, artists, home sewers, anyone just wanting to give it a go, comes and picks up 5 pre-loved garments and create wearable catwalk outfits. They have 8 weeks to transform waste into wonder. There's jeans, there's jacket, that is all recycled waste. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Obviously the garments are amazing, and if picture tells 1,000 words, you can see from the slides the joy. It's about inclusion, it's about sustainability, it's about sharing skills, it's about connection, it's about community, it's about all these things that we lose just by buying fast fashion and disregarding garments. So it started about the clothes, it started about waste fill, but actually it was more than the clothes. It was about the people. It was about human connection and how people feel. So one girl said to me, who entered the first year, she said, "Oh, I thought I was just saving clothes. I actually didn't realise that I was saving my confidence, my connection to community, and my love for fashion." The other thing is that it has an economic benefit. The feedback we've had is that because of raising this awareness, people are keeping money in their pockets. They're spending it on experiences, or else they're buying pre-loved garments, or they're just saving the money. So picture Natalie. She's a really busy mum, has a very busy career, hasn't sewed for years, and was disconnected to her friend group. You know how it is, we're on the wheel, kids to basketball, whatever, and not doing the things you really love. So she contacted me and said, "Hey, I really want to join in, but I can't sew." And I said, "Oh, all right, well, you can staple it if you want. You won't win, but give it a go." So she reconnected with 4 of her childhood friends, and they got together every Saturday with wine, and one of them could sew. And they put together an incredible outfit. They came to the event. They had so much fun that they're actually now looking forward to next year. So I asked Natalie what it made her feel. These were her words. "Lifeline to connection. To be playful again, which, as you know, we've talked about play, create something from nothing and just giving it a go, just having fun. Then there was a young teenage boy. He was depressed and adrift, had no real connection to other people his age. And his family encouraged him to join. He came, he was very hesitant on the night, but he walked the catwalk. And he's now found like-minded creatives. He's gone and bought a sewing machine. He's teaching himself to sew jeans on YouTube. And he has a career in sustainable fashion in mind. These are the stories. These are the people. And this has an impact. The first year we saved 400 items from landfill, and we were, woohoo, 400 items, which when you look at the stats is actually a bit depressing. Since then it's 2,000, minimum 2,000 each year. We make backdrops, where everything is out of recycled landfill. So the most profound shift happens inside us. When these people and myself spend 8 weeks transforming discarded clothing into something uniquely yours, you develop an emotional connection that fast fashion cannot replicate. Today I ask you to join this movement, not through guilt, but through creativity. I know you're thinking, how am I going to do this? It's actually really simple, and it's the 5-garment challenge. So what I'm asking you to do is to only buy 5 garments a year. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, that's not a lot, but I have other solutions, so bear with me. It's 3 steps. Buy only 5 garments a year. The second step is transform existing garments in your wardrobe. And the third step is swap or sell garments you already have. So let's have a chat about that. I know you're probably all thinking, oh, 5. I'd rather buy 7. Don't buy 7, please. Buy 5. And then what you can do is open your wardrobe door, and I guarantee you there'll be at least 1 garment in there, but probably 5, that you have a connection to. Maybe it was a dress you bought 8 years ago that you loved but doesn't fit and is a bit daggy. Maybe, it's a top with ugly sleeves. Be creative. Transform that item into something you will wear on a regular basis because you already have a connection to it. So you can dye it, bleach it, cut it. And I know you're also thinking, I'm not like that. Take it to an alteration specialist. Take it and say, I love this dress, it doesn't fit. And I guarantee you they'll say, let's lop it off, put elastic around the waist and you've got a new skirt. It's not a lot of money and it's a transformed impact. So the third thing that you could do, and I don't know if anyone here has done this, but it's so much fun, is a clothing swap. I've done them for charities. For 50 people bring 10 items each and swap them. But you can do it with 5 friends on a Friday night. You take 5 garments each. You don't have to take home 5. But if you've gifted 5 and you get to take home 2 garments you love, how awesome's that? So now in your brain, are you adding up, well, I've only bought 5, but maybe I'll end up with 12. And how much of that has gone into landfill? 85% of 5, except that I'd suggest that also, if you look at your bank balance from the year before and have a look at what you spent on clothing, you'll be surprised. Those little bits and pieces, they add up. And I'd suggest, if you don't want to save money, you buy 5 really good pieces. Go and buy a beautiful black jacket with silk lining, with beautiful pockets. Buy something you'll wear for 10 years. Go and buy jeans that are made by a local artisan and put them with the white shirt you buy. Have some pride and have some thought into what you're wearing, and I guarantee you your relationship to your garments will change. you will respect those garments. So shifting from fast consumption to slow intention, from quantity to quality, from mindless purchasing to mindful creating. Did you know that there are now fabrics made from banana skins, rose petals, and even food waste? When we demand more, industries respond with brilliance. If we shift from 56 garments per year to 5 garments a year, Australia could reduce landfill from 300,000 tonnes to just 27,000 tonnes annually. That's huge. Globally, if everyone adopted this approach, we could prevent over 80 million tonnes annually. The figures are mind-blowing, aren't they? But wouldn't we want to do that? This is our earth, our really beautiful earth. And as I've said, it's so much more. It's about skills and people and community. These are not just statistics. These are solutions, and they are workable. So I'm asking you today if you'll join me in the 5 garment challenge. Let me hear it. I'm not going to shame anyone that isn't, but it's good that people are thinking that, yeah. So as I stand here today, in pre-loved garments, 3 generations of love, and I am asking you to join me in the 5 garment solution, I want to tell you that style isn't about what you buy, it's absolutely about what you create. Thank you.